Hey there, and welcome. Today, we are diving into the one thing that powers pretty much every song you've ever loved, percussion. It's the oldest kind of instrument, really the foundation of music, and it's the reason you just can't help but move when you hear a great beat. So, let's get right into it.
You ever stop and wonder, what is it that gives a song its energy? That feeling that makes you automatically nod your head or start tapping your feet? Well, a huge piece of that puzzle is rhythm, and the incredible family of instruments built to create it.
And that brings us to our first big idea. We're going to start thinking about percussion as the actual heartbeat of music. It's the steady, reliable pulse that gives life to everything else you hear.
It really is that fundamental. Percussion instruments create that solid, underlying rhythm that the rest of the musicians, the guitarists, the singers, everyone can lock into. Seriously, without that rhythmic foundation, the whole thing would just fall apart. It's like the glue holding the entire song together.
So what is a percussion instrument, officially? Well, the definition is pretty straightforward. It's any instrument that makes a sound when you hit it, you shake it, or you scrape it. It's about as direct and physical as music gets.
Okay, let's get a little scientific for a minute. How does hitting a drum or shaking a tambourine actually become a sound that we can hear? It's not magic, I promise. It's all about physics. And it all comes down to this one simple word, vibration. When you strike an instrument, part of it, or sometimes the whole thing, starts shaking incredibly fast. Those shakes, those vibrations, create waves in the air around them. And when those waves hit our eardrums, our brain translates them into what we hear as sound. Pretty cool, right?
Now, scientists have a couple of cool categories for these. The first one is called an idiophone. The idio part means self, so you can kind of think of it as a self-sounder. With these guys, the entire object vibrates to make the sound. So think about hitting a cymbal, or a woodblock, or ringing a bell. The whole thing shakes to create that sound.
And the second main category? That's the membraphone. You can probably guess from the name. This is all about a membrane, or a stretched skin, that's pulled tight over a hollow shell. When you hit that skin, it vibrates, and the sound gets amplified by the air that's trapped inside. This is your classic drum, like a snare or a bass drum.
So, just to lock it in, an idiophone's sound comes from its whole body vibrating. A membranophone's sound comes from that stretched skin vibrating over a hollow body. They're just two different ways of doing the same awesome thing, making a beat.
Okay, so now we know how they make a sound, but what kind of sound do they make? There's this common idea that percussion is only for rhythm, but that is not the whole story. Some percussion instruments can actually be incredibly melodic.
Which leads to this question. Can a drum actually play a song? And the answer is yes, absolutely, as long as it's the right kind of drum. And this gets right to the heart of another huge distinction in the percussion family.
See, percussion instruments are basically split into two big teams, tuned and untuned. Tuned instruments, like a xylophone or timpani, are built to play specific musical notes, a C, a G, an F sharp. You can play actual tunes on them. But untuned instruments, like a snare drum or cymbals, they make a sound that's way more about impact and texture than a specific pitch.
And both of them are totally essential. While the untuned instruments are busy laying down that solid, driving beat, the tuned ones are adding color and sparkle, and sometimes they're even playing the main melody. You really need both working together to get that full, rich musical sound.
So let's zoom in on what might be the most iconic percussion setup in all of modern music, the drum kit. It is an amazing piece of engineering, a total masterpiece of efficiency, really.
And this quote just nails it. Instead of needing, say, 5 different people to play 5 different percussion parts, one person can sit down and play everything. It's basically a compact one-person orchestra.
So let's do a quick tour of a standard kit. First up, you've got the bass drum on the floor, played with a foot pedal for that deep boom. Then you have the snare drum, which gives you that sharp, snappy crack that you hear in most rock and pop songs. The hi-hat cymbals keep the pulse going. The tom-toms are for those cool rolls and fills between sections. And of course, the big crash and ride cymbals are for all those huge, exciting moments.
So what's up with this number 4? Well, it's pretty incredible. It represents the 4 limbs a drummer has to coordinate completely independently. Their right hand, right foot, and left foot, all playing different rhythms at the same time. It is a mind-boggling display of coordination.
But of course, the drum kit is just one chapter in a much, much bigger global story. Rhythm is universal, and pretty much every culture on Earth has developed its own unique ways to express it.
Let's just take a quick trip around the world.
In Africa, you've got the djembe, a hand drum that can make a huge range of different tones. In Latin America, congas and bongos create those complex, layered rhythms that make you want to dance. And in Asia, you'll find the massive, powerful taiko drums used in incredible performances.
And here's the really important thing to remember. These instruments are so much more than just things to hit to make a sound. They carry the history, the traditions, and the stories of the people who made them. They're a direct line to a culture's identity.
Honestly, the evolution of percussion is kind of like the evolution of humanity. It started with the most basic things, clapping hands, hitting rocks together, then it grew to include small drums for village dances, then it added drama to huge orchestras. The invention of the bass drum pedal completely changed everything in popular music, and today with electronic pads, the sonic possibilities are literally endless.
From a rock to a computer, percussion has always adapted. It's always changed with us. And it kind of makes you wonder, right? As our technology keeps pushing forward, what new sounds, what new rhythms are just waiting out there to be discovered? What's going to be the heartbeat of the music of the future?